Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Grady. Grady had a very good friend, and his good friend's name was GooGoo. And Grady and GooGoo used to hang around everywhere together, and they would go play and they would do things, and they were like the best of friends. And Grady also had a cousin, and her cousin's name was Emmeline. And Grady and Emmeline used to hang around together quite a bit too. And one day, Grady said to his mommy and daddy, "Hey, mommy and daddy, is it okay if I call up GooGoo and invite him over and we can play?" And they said, "Sure, that's okay." And so Grady got on the phone, he called GooGoo and said, "GooGoo, hey, come on over to my place, let's play." And GooGoo asked his mommy and daddy, and they said, okay. So in about 3 or 4 minutes, GooGoo was walking up the driveway, and he got to Grady's house, and Grady asked him. He said, "GooGoo, did you bring anything to eat or drink?" And GooGoo said, "Yeah, I brought some. I brought some apple juice for us to drink." And Grady said, "Oh, that's great, because I made some peanut butter and jelly sandwiches too." And then GooGoo said, "Hey, Grady, how about if we call your cousin Emmeline to play with us too?" And Grady said, "GooGoo, that's a great idea." So Grady went to his mommy and daddy. "Mommy and daddy, mommy and daddy, is it okay if I call my cousin Emmeline and ask her to come and play with us too?" And mommy and daddy said, "Yeah, that's a good idea. Sure, go right ahead." So Grady texted Emmeline and said, "Emmeline, Emmeline, Emmeline, come and play with us. GooGoo's here. Come on over and play." And in about 10 seconds, Emmeline texted back and said, "Oh, Grady, that's a good idea. I'll be over in 2 minutes." So sure enough, Emmeline come walking up the driveway. And Grady said to her, "Emmeline, Emmeline, did you bring anything to eat or anything like that?" And Emmeline said, "Sure, I brought some snacks for us to eat. I got some Poppables and I got some gummy bears." And so Grady said, "Oh, that's awesome. We can make a picnic lunch and we can go hiking in the woods or something." So Emmeline and Grady and GooGoo packed up all their food and threw some extra things in there and got some water and apple juice and sandwiches and a lot of stuff. And they packed everything up and they went out for a walk. Well, they walked up and down the hills and over the brush piles and through people's yards and up the hills through the forest. And when they got to the tippity top of the forest, up behind Grady's house, Emmeline said, "Grady, did you hear that?" And Grady said, "No." And Emmeline said, "GooGoo, how about you? Did you hear that?" And GooGoo said, "No, I didn't hear anything. What did you hear, Emmeline?" She said, "Listen very carefully." So it was very, very quiet. And all of a sudden they heard, "Help me, help me, I'm stuck up in a tree." So they looked around and they looked up in the trees and suddenly Grady said, "Oh, look up there, Emmeline and GooGoo. I think it's a squirrel and I think it's up in the top of that tree and it looks like it's caught or something." And Grady said, and GooGoo said, "I think you're right." And Emmeline said, "Yes, that's what I heard. That's what I heard. What can we do?" And Grady yelled up. He said, What's happened, Mr. Squirrel? How come you're all stuck?" And the squirrel said, "Hi, my name is Sammy the squirrel, and I'm stuck up here. My foot is stuck between an acorn and the branch on this tree, and I can't get it out, and I'm hungry and I'm thirsty." So Emmeline said, "Oh my gosh, Sammy, I'm so sorry. Oh, I wonder how we can help you down." And GooGoo said, "Hey, I've got an idea. How about if we throw a rope up to the tippity top of that branch, and then Sammy can hook it onto the acorn, and then we can pull the acorn down, and maybe you'll be free." And Grady said, "Oh, that's a great idea. I have a rope right here. I brought one with me." So Grady took the rope out of his pockets and he formed a little loop. And then Emmeline wound up the rope around into loops so they can throw it all at one time. And then GooGoo got a stone that he could tape to the end of the rope so that when they threw it, it would go farther. So they got it all ready. And because Emmeline was the oldest, she said they decided that she was going to try to throw it up to the top of the tree. So when it was all ready, they said 1, 2, 3, and she threw it all the way to the top of the tree. And it just barely caught over the branch, and Sammy caught the rope. And then GooGoo said, okay, Sammy, put it around the acorn, put that rope around the acorn, and we'll pull it down. And then Emmeline said, yeah, let us know when you have it around the acorn, Sammy. So Sammy put it around the acorn, and he said, okay, I've tightened it up, and you can pull it now. So Grady said, okay, everybody, now when we pull it, we got to pull it very gently because we don't want to break Sammy's leg. If we pull it too hard and too quickly, we might break his leg. So Grady said, all right, Sammy, you hang on. And Sammy said, okay, thank you. So very gently, Emmeline and GooGoo and Grady pulled on the rope, and they pulled a little bit harder. They had to pull a little bit harder because it was stuck, and then they had to yank it, and all of a sudden the acorn came down, and Emmeline caught the acorn. And it was a pretty big acorn, and it wasn't broken yet, but that doesn't matter. So they yelled up, Sammy, how you doing? Oh, I'm good now, thank you very much, but I'm still pretty hungry and thirsty. So Emmeline said, well, Sammy, can you climb down now? So Sammy said, I'll try. So very gingerly and very gently, Sammy came down the tree, and he could, Emmeline and Grady and GooGoo could tell that Sammy was hurting because he was limping, and he just came down the tree. So when he got down to the very bottom, GooGoo held out his hand, and Sammy climbed into his hand, and then they put him on a stump right there next to the tree. And Emmeline said, Sammy, how do you feel? And Sammy said, oh, my leg's a little bit hurt. It might be broken, I think. And I'm really thirsty and really hungry. So Grady and GooGoo got out the food and the water and stuff that they brought along, and they even gave Sammy some apple juice too. And Sammy said, oh, I don't like the apple juice. And Emmeline said, you don't have to drink that. I'll drink the apple juice. So Sammy was filling up on food, and he was very, very thankful. And then Emmeline said, you know what, Sammy, I think we better take a look at your leg to see if it's broken. So very gently, Emmeline and GooGoo sort of grabbed onto Sammy's front paw and his leg, and they said, oh yeah, I think it's broken. I think we should need to do something about your leg. So Grady said, okay, I have a little stick right here, and I have a piece of cloth, a long, thin piece of cloth. So you guys hold his leg together, and then I'll wrap the cloth around the stick around his leg. We'll put a stick by his leg, and then we'll wrap a cloth around his leg too. And then I got some Scotch tape, and I'll tape both ends, and then I'll put duct tape over the whole thing just to make sure it doesn't come loose. So they did that, and while they were doing that, Sammy was finishing up eating and drinking. And at the end, Sammy said, oh man, my foot feels and my leg feels really good. I can walk on it again. And he was walking all around, and he started running around, and he was climbing the tree and everything. And GooGoo said, wow, Sammy, that's awesome. You look like you're back to normal. And Emmeline said, we're really glad we could help you. And Grady said, so Sammy, do you think we could see you again sometime? And Sammy said, you know what, guys? Any time that you're in the woods, or if you ever get in trouble or ever need any help, you just call out for Sammy the squirrel, and if I'm around, I'll come running, and I'll bring all my friends, and we'll help you if you're ever in trouble. And Emmeline said, oh, thank you very much, Sammy. I'm Grady's cousin. My name is Emmeline, and this is my cousin Grady, and this is Grady's very good friend GooGoo. And so GooGoo said, hi, how you doing, Sammy? And Grady said, hello, Sammy, glad to meet you. And then Sammy said, well, I'm sorry, guys, but I think I better go because I'm really, really, my mommy and daddy must be really worried about me because I haven't been home for many days, and so I better get going. So Emmeline and GooGoo and Grady said, okay, we'll see you, Sammy. You take care and be careful in the woods. So Emmeline and Grady were really excited about going back and telling Grady's parents about the adventure they just had and how they helped Sammy the squirrel. And GooGoo was excited too. So GooGoo said, hey, you guys, come on, follow me. Let's go back. Let's see how fast we can get back to Grady's house so we can tell Grady's mommy and daddy about our adventure. So they were running down the hill and over the brush piles and jumping through mud puddles and over rivers and crossing streams and everything else. And they finally got to Grady's house and they went in and they told Grady's mommy and daddy about their adventure and how they helped Sammy the squirrel because he was stuck in a tree between an acorn and branch. And Grady's mommy and daddy were very, very proud of them. And they said, okay, you guys were such good people that we're going to make you some hot chocolate and donuts. So Grady's daddy made some hot chocolate and Grady's mommy got some donuts out of the freezer and put them in the microwave. And Grady and GooGoo and Emmeline sat and had hot chocolate and donuts, gluten-free donuts, by the way. And they were very, very happy that they did what they did. And then it was time to go home. So Emmeline and GooGoo and Grady got into Mommy and Daddy's car, Grady's Mommy and Daddy's car. And then Grady's Mommy and Daddy drove them home and dropped them off and said goodbye, Emmeline, and then goodbye, GooGoo. And then they went back home. And everyone was happy. And that's the end of the story.